You're there.
Yeah, so we're not confused. All right, what's going on, sir?
Man
Nice
of
to
your
see you.
word.
Yeah, I showed up.
You showed up. You
There
said
you
you
go.
would, and you did. That
I
means
did.
a lot to me. I appreciate
That's
it.
it. Well, the bar is set low if that's all it is. Like, who doesn't show up?
People, are you kidding?
Well,
are
that's why I don't
you
have
in show
guests.
business?
That's why I don't have guests. For the most part, I don't have guests because
By the
I
way,
don't want to deal with that.
That is something I also am somewhat in awe of. I couldn't do that. You know, there's some things I can do, I think, in show business as good or better than anybody. But then there's things like improv I couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Rap.
Rap, there you go.
Especially right up the dome.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing.
That blows my mind. But also,
Yeah.
but just talking straight to the camera, just starting, and it's just you. Rush Limbaugh did it.
Yes, he did.
And you do it. But that is a rare skill, my friend, to just go.
It's probably some personality flaw in the rest of my life, but in that moment, it works. So, well, I know a lot of people that would agree with you.
Well, I mean, don't you have a childhood that lends itself to humor because of, what was the Boston comic who used to say he had a bad father like you did? And he was like, when Bing Crosby's kids were like talking about how Bing Crosby was, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
He was like, hey, my dad used to hit us with your father's record.
Yeah.
You know, that was a Boston comic. I forget who it was.
Yeah. Yeah, there was...
But yeah, you have fodder, you know, like all of pain in life is fodder for art, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of how it works.
I mean,
that's class. Look at that. When I used to drink, I used to just fill it up till it was above the ice cubes.
Well, I used to drink like that too, but you know, we all have to throttle back.
I know.
As we get older.
I like that joke that you used to do. Said if you don't stop drinking as you get older, you start looking like a Kennedy.
Yeah.
But it's not
Ted. I said Ted Kennedy.
Ted, yeah.
I mean, he did have that.
Yeah. He had a lot of demons.
No, but he had.
He would have been a hell of a stand-up. All the pain that guy had, and then the pain he caused.
Ted Kennedy.
Oh my God, he would have crushed it. That giant head.
I know stories about him from like.
Let's keep it light, huh?
What could be?
Where you going? Yeah, you're going to Ted. You get Teddy Darkness. Can I smoke a cigar in here?
Of course, you can do whatever you want in here. But I dated someone whose mother, like, was someone he visited as a lady.
They had a book club.
What do you defend? By the way, you were very good as Jack Kennedy in the Seinfeld movie.
Oh, thank you.
That was a perfect.
I had a great. Wasn't that a great movie?
So good.
I've loved it.
And you know what? I have to say, and Jerry was here just a few days ago. I heard terrible things about it. To be honest, I don't know
younger
why.
people, because I think younger people didn't know some of the references.
I don't think they even saw it yet. I don't know where that came from. And then I watched it. I was like, wow. Not only is the concept so genius, the juxtaposition of the most trivial thing in the world, breakfast cereal, with all that stuff that was going on in the 60s, NASA and the Cold War, you know, all that.
But what's funny is the battle that Kellogg's and Post, it's the same battle that people are fighting with the Army. I loved all of that. I also loved when they went to the grocery store, when Post and Kellogg's are racing to get their Pop-Tarts there. Did you notice one truck was a Ford, one was a Chevy?
No, I did not notice.
Like, there was a lot of, like, little things in there.
Oh, there were. But what's funny is treating it as if it was the end of the world, the space.
Yes.
That's what was funny. And Khrushchev, that it was important to the Cuba, the Cold War, El Sucre, all that stuff. And the pacing, for a first-time director, I thought, I love that about it, that it just moved. You know,
Comedians make good directors, though. They do.
Like who else would be in that category?
There was this guy, Bill Burr, directed this movie, Old Dads.
Yeah, I saw it. It was good. You're right.
I thought you were going to say I didn't think it was that good.
No. I didn't know you directed.
My heart just went down like that. I was like, oh, God, I just set myself up.
I actually didn't know you directed it.
I directed it because there was no one available. That's the only reason why I did it, because we were coming out of the pandemic, so all the directors that were going to shoot something in 2020, whenever the hell it was, they didn't shoot it because we were quarantined. And then they were like 2 projects behind, so they started pulling that like, it's going to go away, it's going to go away.
You have a big future in filmmaking, very much like Louis C.K., but without
Yeah,
the
but Louis just making movies on his own.
I know.
Did you see that one?
I loved it.
That 4th of July with Joe
Yes,
List?
absolutely.
Yeah, it was
No,
fantastic.
I mean, don't get me started on that, but isn't it time everyone just went, okay, it wasn't a cool thing to do, but it's been long enough, and welcome back to the world.
You took $50 million from him. I think they punished him.
Enough. I mean, for Christ's sake, it's not the end of the world. People have done so much more worse things and gotten less. There's no rhyme or reason to the Me Too type punishments.
Well, it's like most things. It started off with something everyone could agree on, and then quickly it just spun out of. I remember whenever that cancel culture got to the point of where it was, I don't like some of the topics in your stand-up act.
Right.
Yeah, that's when it got weird. But like, that's all over. It's all over. That's
what's over? Cancel culture?
Yeah, no one cares anymore.
That's so not true. Either one of us could get canceled in the next 2 minutes.
No. For what? Yeah. Well, if you're not doing anything, well, it's just like you did this joke about this group of people or that group of people, and I've decided to. I don't know. I feel like I'm going back 2 years of my life. Like I don't even think about it anymore. Nice ashtray, by the way.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
I've never known where I got anything. I probably should. Somebody gave this to me.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing they used to give you when you were tired after a while. A watch and an ashtray.
When you think
martini shaker.
When you think about like how much, when you probably had similar upbringings, you treasured like almost every physical thing you had, even if it was a hand-me-down. Like you had just certain things in your little room. And then as you go through life, so much stuff. And you don't even know where you got all the stuff.
Well, you know what about that? What's great about that is there's no upgrade. And everything became like disposable. Like electric cars are like laptops. Like after a couple of years, like they're not worth anything because of like the technology, which doesn't even make sense. But like same thing with like a laptop, with phones, all of that stuff.
What do you drive?
What do I drive? I'm a truck guy. I got a Ford F-250 and I have an old F-100.
Really? Why?
The same reason. Why does a guy drive a Ferrari down Sunset Strip and never take it to a racetrack? That's what he's into. My Ferraris, I always wanted a Ford F-250, 8-foot bed, regular cab.
Why? You hauling dirt?
Is that guy going to the racetrack? Have you ever driven one of those on a racetrack? You cannot flip them over. They're unbelievable, the technology and the respect you get for racing of what they're putting their bodies through. Because I didn't, I was driving like an asshole. I finally realized that you try to go smooth around the track, not try to just stomp on the gas and slam on the brakes. But like, I like driving. That's why I like cigars. I like going slow because my brain goes fast. And there's something about driving a truck. It's slow. It slows me down, and I can think.
You like driving?
I love it.
Me too. I would hate to be at that stage, or for whatever reason, where I had to be driven everywhere. I mean, sometimes you do, like when we're on the road, probably get picked up by somebody, right? You're not driving yourself in Cincinnati.
Right.
But there's something, and I see these electric cars now next to me on the highway that, I mean, not like self-driving cars.
That's insane. First of all, can I ask you a question? Why do we need that?
I'll never get used to it, is the bottom line. I don't think I will, like, some things, look, I don't fight progress. I mean, we all love our phones. Come on, to put a little computer like that in your pocket that does so many things, it changed everybody's lives, mostly for the better and some for the worse. When it's done to kids' heads, really fuck them up.
Kids' heads, my head. I can't, like, I stayed off Instagram for a month, and my short-term memory got like, it felt like 30% better. And I realized, like, oh, maybe I'm not getting dementia. I just think my brain is like getting scrambled. Like the amount of times I'm sitting there going like, put this down, put it down, talk to your wife. You're supposed to be watching this movie with her. And like something on TV, I'll be like, is that guy still alive? Or like, what kind of car is that? And then I'm just fucking, I'm like that. And I miss the whole.
You're looking up the answer to those questions?
And then that leads me to videos, and then I'm just going like, I never saw that movie Girl Interrupted, and I saw it on the Criterion Channel. I want to watch that. And there's all these great actors in it. I want to see this. So I put it on, and something in there reminded me of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I was trying to think of the cast, who was in it. Danny DeVito was in it, young Danny DeVito, and all of that. And I just went down this thing, and all of a sudden, it felt like 10 minutes, and the credits were rolling, and I was going like someone, I forget, somebody won an Oscar on that movie, and I like totally spaced on it.
I think that might be the difference in our generations, which is not that. I mean, we're maybe like 13 years apart.
You're one of my elders, man. I respect you for that.
I feel like I'm in the Reagan-Mondale debate.
No, I just remember when you did my podcast, you kept getting like, I'm not that much older than you.
And I'm not. And
Dude, 13 years is a long fucking time.
Well, I think the point I made then, and I'll remake it for you, is that to anyone young, who is what we care about in this discussion, because it's like, well, we don't want to lose that audience. Trust me, when you're 25, you and I are the same. And I told you this story about...
How dare you?
When
you dress like you paint. Look at you.
When Leno and Conan were going through that whole thing that we all remember as comedians so well, remember the fight for the crown at the Tonight Show?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2009. And I was with my girlfriend was 25 at the time, and we were talking about it. And I said, well, you know, it's a big age difference. Leno's 59 and Conan's 46. And she went, yeah, that's the same thing to me. And I always remember that. So we are the younger audience.
No, if you and I are just like hanging out, talking, but if we go back far enough.
You're a dad.
If we go back like.
That adds 10 years. You're married and a dad. See,
no, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
You just hate kids.
I do. But like having never gotten married, not married, not kid, that definitely closes that gap. Anyway, the point being...
I don't like how you just made that point and then said anyway really quickly before I could refute it. Anyway. Did you learn that in debating class?
I did.
Because you said anyway, I'm going to roll with that? No.
Well, I mean, you got to play.
No, but it's like, I mean, you're like pre-stand-up spotlight, you know, as far as like, you know...
What does that mean?
I mean, that's just, I mean, you were like Comedy on the Road, Evening at the Improv. I mean, that's, that's a whole different generation than mine.
The point I was going to make is that this, to me, says two different generations. Like, I don't think many people from my generation ever have what you just described, this addiction to social media, going down rabbit holes, the attention span issue here, where you're watching something, but it makes you think of something else, and then you go to that. Just what you were just telling me.
Yeah.
That's like very alien to me.
One of the best things you did for society is you didn't have kids.
Well,
you know.
Thank you. I know you meant that in a snarky way.
No, but we need more people like you.
We do.
That can just admit that I don't want to deal with this shit. The worst thing is when a person who doesn't want to have kids has kids because they think they're supposed to do it, and then they fucking don't like them, and then that kid has to spend their whole life without that love, and then they meet my kid, and then they're a fucking asshole to him.
Right.
Then it's what ends, or they met us or whatever. So like,
has that happened? You've had kids, your kids have had to encounter kids who you thought were shitty kids because of the parents being shitty?
Well, that's one of my favorite things that they say, like when they go, you know what, kids are mean. And you know what I always say to them? I always say, yeah, you know who makes kids? God. So stop like worshiping this guy every fucking Sunday. He makes mean kids who say shit to other kids. He makes people who don't want to have kids who end up having kids, and then those kids don't get love, and then they go to school and they're fucking mean. And they say stuff to kids, they carry it for the rest of their lives. Like, if anything I can instill with my kids is I'm the attribute I have as a father is I remember what it was like to be a kid. So one of the big things is when in the morning time when my kids are getting dressed and my wife picks out the clothes, if they're like, I don't like this shirt, I'm like, wear one that you like. Because if you go to school with I don't like my shirt energy, your shoulders are going to be slumped and then they're coming at you. I want you liking your shirt. Let's start your day liking what you're wearing.
I wish I had someone to tell me that. Most of my schooling, I would say most, I went to school with a knot in my stomach.
Yeah, you got picked on.
Because even if I wasn't, it was always the potential, and sometimes I was. It just never felt right to me. If you're a control freak, which I kind of am, childhood is a kind of torture because you just do not have control yet. I got happier as I got older because I got more control. I don't need the control.
You know what night I remember? The first night when I moved out and I was on my own, and I remember just being out and having nobody to answer to when I got home, and I was just like, this is fucking amazing.
It's an exhilarating feeling.
Yeah.
It is.
But then what you quickly realize is you have to become your own parent. which you have to tell yourself it's time to go to bed, or maybe you're drinking too much or something like that. Because I saw,
Right.
you watch people mess up, not just show business, but just careers in general, because they can't, like, I feel like the people that had the most overbearing parents a lot of times, like, just that feeling when they finally move out of freedom, it's like literally, like, I think it's too much for them.
Yes, it is. It's you know what it is? It's Morgan Freeman. No, who's the other guy in Shawshank Redemption who?
Tim Robbins.
Yeah, but no, the guy who he gets out of prison and
the
he
old guy. Yeah.
can't handle it because he's so used to prison.
Hey, he's
and now he's
institutionalized.
like, he's working at the supermarket and he says, "Can I take a pee, boss?" And they say, "You don't have to ask every time. You just take a pee,"
Yeah.
And he can't hack it. There is something to that. I mean, the mind is a strange place.
I feel like people that watch 24-hour news networks get institutionalized to blame colors of ties rather than the corporations behind them. And they will just sit there convinced that, Trump is the worst thing that happened to this country, or Biden is the worst thing that happened to this country. And it's just like, you might want to just kind of push through that veil a little bit further.
Yeah.
And so I kind of have this thing, like, when I get around, like, the 24-hour news zombies, I just, Jesus Christ, was that Geritol? Nobody under the age of 50 got that one. Remember that? I was on the Lawrence Welk show. He used to
Right.
peddle the Geritol.
To my point, the 25-year-old is watching this going, look at these two old guys. They're not going, oh, the guy with the cigars,
I know
obviously
that.
13 years younger.
I know, but you have to go all the way down to 25 to appear my age.
Well, I don't.
You can see. Look at the
I don't
difference. Look at the
mind.
difference. You can just see the way we dress. We're not different people. This is like, you come from, the slacks generation. Like, slacks were
These are
still a
jeans.
thing.
These are
No,
not
but slacks were a thing.
No, I look good. That's the difference. Is that you were
do
wearing?
look good.
You're wearing
You're not gonna
sneakers.
throw that in my
You got
face.
you got a t-shirt on. Like
You look like a fucking defendant. Look like you're trying to beat a drinking and driving charge. He doesn't have any priors, Your Honor. Look at him. He's wearing his Chelsea boots. He's a fucking, what do they call it? A productive member of society. He needs his car for work. I think that this should be a suspension, not a full on.
That's good.
You ever get busted for that?
What?
Drinking and driving?
Yes, I had a DUI in '92. It was a nightmare. Could have wrecked my life because it was just as I was starting Politically Incorrect. And I had to get a special dispensation from the court to interrupt my 14-week corrective program that you have to go to when you get a DUI. If they
I would have
didn't,
killed to watch you in that classroom, having lost all that control.
oh.
And just having to sit there in that
Well, it was
desk.
everybody who got a DUI. I mean, it was just a cross-section of society. We weren't criminals. We were just like people, just douchebag millennials coming home from a club, and we had one too many and were driving too fast. When I was stopped, I happened to be wearing leopard print shoes. Now, if you think I wasn't going to get a ticket that night, I
want to hear why, what sort of party were you going to where that seemed like...
It wasn't a party. It was 1992. I had just done a sitcom, and it was wardrobe from the sitcom I had. I guess we thought, don't ask me about clothes. I'm sure you wore also ridiculous things in the day.
No, I did, but I didn't, like, leopard print was always like...
Leopard.
That was always for that woman of a certain age that wanted, one more lap around the block. She'd go to a local watering hole and she'd wear her leopard print blouse.
Well, I'm sure some cool people have worn leopard print in the past. I'm sure I could find pictures of rock stars.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
but they can wear anything.
Anyway,
not Bill Maher reading the New York Times, driving around fucking leopard print shoes.
You know what I really resented, and they were hard. If you missed a meeting, or if you were late by even 1 minute, you had to repeat the whole program. You had to go to 6 AA meetings, which I really resented because I was a little over the limit, but I was not. Doesn't mean I was an alcoholic. So I had to go to these meetings, and we would go around the room, and everybody would say, "Hi, I'm Phil. I'm an alcoholic. I'm Bob. I'm an alcoholic." I wouldn't say it. I just wouldn't. I'm not. Hi, I'm Bill. I'm not an alcoholic. They made me come to this class.
That's great. You said that.
Yeah.
No, and this thing, alcoholics are cool. Like they would be like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I
like,
wasn't the only one in there like that.
You know, and I also, that like part of being an alcoholic is drunk drivers passing through your classes, groups of them. Yeah, I got busted in '89. And,
so if you got this DUI.
That was like a part of growing up. That's all you did was drive drunk. And the thing about it is there was no Uber back then. So you just kind of had to like, we were all idiots and we didn't understand that we could kill somebody. Even in Malaysia, they dragged the wreckage there. You just had that young, stupid brain, like it's not going to happen to me. So that would end up being, that was like the best thing that happened to me because that happened when I was 21 and I was already starting to feel, like 21 felt old to me then. And I was like, what am I doing? You know, I'm going part-time to college, I'm unloading trucks, and I'm getting shit-faced, and I'm broke every Thursday waiting for my check. What am I doing?
But see,
how long can I do this?
That is what has made you the guy who sells stadiums, which is very, very few comics. I know, but you played the size of an audience that very, 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 very few comics do or ever get to do. Not that many wouldn't even want to, but they don't even get the option. But it all comes from you are an everyman. Every crate you lifted, all that stuff, they see in you. And you're of course very funny and great at your craft, but like there is a emotional connection that they have to you.
Well, you know what it is?
It's a very valuable thing.
I think that where I grew up though is another thing because I'm growing up. I'm trying to, like I have a hard time thinking of people in my life, all my childhood friends. Everybody I worked with, every place I worked, everybody was funny. There's a weird thing about...
Really?
Oh, my God. Dude, there's
Wicked funny?
Dude, there's guys I went to high school with, I'm still not as funny as they were. And the thing about it was, what made them even funnier was they weren't trying to be funny.
Well, they must be really pissed off because they're still carrying the crates.
No, they just had good childhoods. They had cool parents and like they were happy and
you said they're funnier than you.
I mean, as far as I remember, like they, you know, like some of the guys that I can't even explain, like there's a difference. Like I tell the story, they were the story. Like these guys, they would get into a fucking fist fight. They didn't care where they were. And I always like just looked at they were like, they were free. I just loved like, I would be like.
Because they were kids. Because when we're kids, everything's funny. Everybody seems funny. You're just filled with so much extra energy. And part of it you expend just giggling and laughing if you're in a good mood and you're not, when you're not.
No, these guys were fucking funny.
I don't think so.
I remember one of my.
Remember it that way.
No, I had a buddy of mine. He fucking, you know, all my friends gambled. He was losing so much fucking money on the Houston Rockets as he kept doubling down thinking that they were going to win and they kept losing games. They had these great players. And he literally called long distance information, not joking. He said in Houston, last name Olajuwon. And he didn't say he was going to do it. He went up and did it. And we just looked over and we just started fucking like, he was high. But he literally thought that he was going to get Akeem Olajuwon on the phone and he was going to read him the riot act the way he played that night. Like, I'm talking about that shit. Okay. Like, I would have done that as the joke just so everyone would hear it. He did it dead serious. I'm talking about guys that would go in to get their hair cut and they had a fucking joint behind their ear and they would comb out their hair and it would fall. Like, they were fucking hilarious. And they weren't trying to be, just how they lived their lives was fucking hilarious. By the way, that was the same guy. My friends that watch this, I know what he's talking about. The same guy did both of those.
I guess I'm less of a fan of practical jokes than many others are. I guess I'm more a verbal, but you know, like
Wait, there was no practical joke in there.
Well,
that was a guy's,
when you actually do it.
He was speaking from his heart.
No, the Olajuwon thing. I mean, to do that.
He like legit thought he was going to get him on the phone.
I understand. To me, that's a practical joke. It's practical.
I thought a practical joke is if I stick a bucket of water above a door and you open it and it gets you all wet.
That's another kind.
And then I go, auga, with a horn.
I mean, like you always hear these stories about how George Clooney and some of these big stars, they're practical jokers. Like on one movie, I forget he did with Matt Damon, and every day he had the wardrobe department take out his pants just a little bit, take in his pants, so that he thought he was getting fat when he really wasn't. because the pants would not fit.
Yeah, it's a fucking, I mean, that's a joke. That's like a fucking nightmare. Here's another thing too, for young actors, when you go to wardrobe, because they wear the same pants, like I don't give a fuck what it says on the size, it's not that size. They either let it out or let it in. And I used to just go in like, I'm a fucking 34, like what is going on? Am I retaining water? What's going on? And like, it really gets in your head and you start eating like salads and shit, you know, and it's just like.
What is your regimen? I'm very curious, like your health regimen. How much do you care about what you eat, or you?
No, I do. I don't fuck with desserts. I don't eat bread, and I've laid off like sugar and stuff.
There you
I
go.
had a little bit of a relapse, but like when you get to
Right.
be my age, you're not going to go to the gym and burn it off. What's going to happen is your joints are going to wear out before the donut does. So just stop eating the fucking donut. So I just try to like
Yeah.
maintain.
No, that's exactly.
And I keep my shirt on.
That's.
I'm not one of these testosterone
No.
fucking
And it's-
HGH guys. What do you think the price of that's going to be? Because you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't get your frat boy yoked body back.
At a certain age, you can look good in clothes.
Yes.
Okay? And you just have to accept that. And luckily, women accept that. Most women. It's very, very rare
Women
that.
are very forgiving. And I also think they like if you're a little bit out of shape because it gives them some leeway.
Well, you keep telling yourself that. They don't like that. But.
I'm not telling myself that. I'm telling you that.
Okay. I just don't think that's true. But
That's how you say it.
But they are much more forgiving of that than men are. You know the old saying: "Men fall in love through their eyes, women fall in love through their ears." We are.
It's just somebody selling books.
There is truth in that. Are you kidding? There is absolute truth in that. Women can be what?
That to me is when you're younger. When you get older and you're actually want to get married, what you're looking for is a good person. And at that point, I feel like men and women, it kind of levels out. And at that point, you realize, all right, I got some baggage. You got some. Can I deal with your bullshit? You know what I mean? There has to be that initial attraction and all of that, but it really comes down to that. Like, you know what got me? My wife is gorgeous, but what really got me like going, who is this person? I remember we were hanging out. I had a sofa that folded down into a futon when I first met her, and we were watching TV, and somehow we were talking about dogs, and she started imitating a dog, going whoa whoa whoa, and she just threw herself into it. And it was fucking adorable. And there was like a freedom of the way she did it. And that's the second time I brought that up when I used to watch my friends just get into fights, the freedom of it. Because I lived in such an oppressive fucking kind of thing, control freak thing, that I was really attracted to that. And like I was still as a performer trying to free myself up on stage. And I thought she was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. And I just thought, and just seeing this other side of her, that, you know, like there's this whole stereotype that beautiful women aren't funny. My wife is fucking hilarious. So it was kind of this. And then I got in a car with her one time and she puts on like Steely Dan. I'm in Harlem. Okay. African-American woman. She pops in Steely Dan, like the fucking levels. I was just going like, who is this person? And it was beyond anything that I had met. So that's how I didn't be like, oh, look, you know, nice tits. It wasn't that. It was like, this person is like.
Was this the first black girl you ever went with?
I was equal opportunity, so no. I dated them all. I had a good time in New York. Put it that way. I had a good time.
You lived in New York.
Well, initially I lived my shutdown years. The Cold War emotionally for me was growing up in Massachusetts. And then when I went down to New York and I finally had moved out and everything and finally got through college, I went down there
That's where you went after college, New York.
I stayed home and paid off my college. I paid off my college debt. And one of my buddies gave me some money because, you know, we had a big family. So, I mean, you kind of had to like work your way through college. So I had to pay that off. And then going to New York scared the shit out of me. So I had a day job and I was doing stand-up and I was driving this piece of shit car from high school. I put a new engine in it so I wouldn't take on the debt. And I saved up, like I had like 10 grand. And then I just went down to New York. You know, and I was going like, all right, I got to get a day job. And somehow that morphed into, I need to get more gigs. And I never got a day job. And I had just a couple of acting gigs that padded me enough that then I got an agent. And then I've been on, like I haven't had a day job since 95, which is so cool to me.
I mean, we are so fortunate. I always say, I hope there's not reincarnation because I'm not going to pull a better life.
No.
And I know that, I mean, I know that sounds crazy to some people, like, well, and maybe it's not. Maybe it is crazy because maybe some people live lives that we have no idea about, and it's really great to be an accountant.
No, but the thing is, if
it could be.
But some people, that's their passion. So
Exactly.
for them, that's not
right.
That's not working, or managing people's money or construction or whatever. People like building stuff or whatever. I think the big thing that everybody would like is to do a job that they love and work for themselves. That's kind of the best.
The idea that we're working now
is a joke.
We are working.
It's literally a joke.
This is but we are working. This is our. Why can't we just say people are different, especially?
You can't say that, and you just said it, and there's nothing gonna be.
But we should say it. We're just different when it comes to what we want, how we relate to.
No, that's true. Because I'll tell you this.
Some people aren't even heterosexual, believe it or not.
Here's one.
They're gay and trans.
And ever since that has gone like mainstream, like when we were growing up, it was like, you're either gay or straight. That was it. You didn't realize there was this whole fucking, there's like a whole thing going on there.
There's another difference in generations. When I was growing up, it wasn't even gay. It wasn't even there.
Yeah.
I don't remember that coming up in high school at all. And trans, I never even heard of in high school.
I saw this great there's another thing too why you should scroll, is the level of comedy by regular people, the comments that they leave on this. Oh my God.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They're fucking amazing.
They can, yeah.
So someone they showed this clip of Liberace, and it was that weird period where rock had taken over, and there was these older acts trying to be hip, so they were doing their swing versions of like these rock songs. So I forget what Liberace was singing, but the way he was dressed and just running around like that. And this guy wrote in the comments, he said, when I was younger, my dad described Liberace as an eccentric old man.
Yeah.
You weren't gay. He's a little eccentric. He worded it better, but like all his homosexuality was filed under eccentric. And it's just like this.
They've had many, many euphemisms for gay. You couldn't say that in Hollywood. For example, the director George Cukor was everyone in town knew he was gay.
His name was Q-Card?
George Cukor, C-U-K-O-R.
Oh,
You never heard of him?
No.
Phyllis.
Was his brother Billy Boom Mike?
What? I don't even.
Oh, Cue card. It's like what the camera.
Cue card, not cue card.
All right.
Anyway, he was known as a woman's director. They couldn't say gay. That was the.
Well, he's a confirmed bachelor.
That's another one.
That was another one.
Yes, a confirmed bachelor.
I actually, out of all this shit, like homophobia has got to be the dumbest. It's just how somebody is born, and I don't understand why anybody gives a fuck. But it's true though. You didn't like that?
It is true. I'm just saying it sounds like
I deserve that a little bit, but I don't understand like why all of these people. Well, religion, right? That's what gets everybody going.
Yes, and I certainly made my bones with that subject. So I'm glad we're on the same page there.
I am 100% on the same page. I'm not saying that there's not something out there, but it doesn't give a fuck about us, or it wouldn't have set this thing up the way it is.
Right.
Where
that's a good way to put it.
Sociopaths seem to just fall up the stairs of success, and then these fucking nerds make all their dreams come true. Whatever weaponry or robot they want, they make them.
No, justice on earth is like at an award show. It's just random.
Yeah. And then it gets dark.
That does
get dark.
I would just let that sit there.
Yeah.
But, well, you're a great star.
Well, here's something. I'll tell you about great being a parent. Is all the highs I've had as a comedian, there was no bigger high than teaching my daughter how to ride a bicycle. That day I let go and she took off was fucking amazing.
What do your kids think of daddy big star and like daddy playing these arenas? And
they don't really know it. My daughter said to me, she's only, like she knows now, but when she was like 5, she said to me, she goes, Dad, how come everybody knows who you are? And I just go, I'm old. I've met a lot of people. I don't have like pictures of me doing stand-up in my house. I'm just totally like...
You lied to the child.
Huh?
You lied to a child.
Well, she didn't say, are you a comedian? And I said, no, I just don't bring that home. I'm dead. I don't want to be a comedian in my house.
But they're going to notice.
Yeah, they're gonna, but I'm not embarrassed of my job.
Not embarrassed.
But I don't come home and be like, hey, I made bonus this weekend in the Improv. They had to add a show for Dad. Like, I would never do that. And also, like,
no, but kids.
I understand that I chose to be in this business and they didn't. If they want to get in the business, I think it's a great business to be in. No better or worse than any other business. And it's just like, if you want to get into it, but don't. I'm not going to be like.
But there are
being some stage mom.
There are positives and negatives, but it's undeniably a variable in a kid's upbringing when their father has fame and a great success. I mean, that's not the experience of most kids. Now, there's many ways you can handle it. I mean, we see a lot of nepo babies. We see a lot of.
I love that nepo baby. Everybody's a nepo baby.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. If your dad's a dentist and you become a dentist, now I don't give you credit for being a dentist because your dad was filling teeth.
What a dumb analogy.
Why?
Because we're talking about nepo and we're talking about in.
You are.
I am?
That's what you're talking about. No, it's that thing where they go like, I've been doing this bit about, they talk about Hollywood pedophilia, like it's not everywhere. Like the Catholic Church has to be on the fucking Mount Rushmore of that shit.
Of course.
And the Hollywood pedophilia exposed. And it's just like, did you watch To Catch a Predator?
Yeah.
That was never in Hollywood. Plenty of people coming up that driveway.
Yeah, no one's denying that. No one ever
All right, well, the nepo baby, your dad has a construction company, you take it over. Does somebody call him a nepo baby? No, it just becomes, Sanford and Son.
Yeah, but it's a little more pronounced when it's in the arts because you have this.
I hate that word.
Why?
Pronounced.
Jesus Christ.
Because that's like a PED.
You know what?
You know what it was? That was like a PED for your fucking point.
Your wife.
It's a little more pronounced.
Your wife must be a saint. Because, like, boy.
Because you're such a victim right now?
No, because you do like to, pick a fight about anything.
You just said I was stupid.
Well, that's
You just came at me.
That's a completely different subject. What?
I just like arguing with you. I like arguing with you.
Are you kidding?
All
It's like sparring with Muhammad Ali.
Who was the guy? Who was the white guy back then?
Trevor Bobbitt?
No. Oh my God.
Wepner?
Before Tex Cobb, it was
Wepner, who was the Bayonne bleeder.
I'm gonna remember his name when I get out of here.
So, Bill, where are you playing if someone wanted to see you do stand-up?
Coming up, I'm in the Belco Theater, Denver, Colorado on June 5th and 6th. The 8th, I'm at the Greek Theater in Berkeley, California with all your libtard friends. June 9th. I love how libtard doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. It's like moron came up with it. I hate bad. Come up with something better than that. June 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, I'm at the San Jose Civic Center in San Jose. And then at the end of the month, at the Moore Theater in Seattle, 4 nights, and I'm going to be taping my next special.
4 nights?
Yep.
How many nights in a row can you do without being too tired to go on? Can you do like every night in a row for a while?
That's more like I miss my kids after a while.
But you don't mind doing the show every night in a row?
No. I mean, 2 shows at my age, I can get a little like...
You do 2 shows in one night?
No, I don't. I try not to.
That's crazy. I agree.
I try. That's a young man's game.
It is.
I did enough of those. And these kids, like, coming up, I imagine those gigs still exist. Remember the Tuesday through Sunday, 2 Friday, 3 Saturday?
I certainly lived it.
Oh, yeah. And you were in Portland, Oregon, and you were in Seattle, and you were just there. You were just fucking there, and it was like, and the hardest show of the week is the second show Saturday.
Oh.
Knowing you still have 1 more to go.
I did 3 shows sometimes.
That's what I'm saying, 3 shows Saturday.
Oh,
But the middle show, the first show, you just have no hope because you got 3. And the last one's the last one, so that's cool. The second one, knowing you got to do your bullshit act again.
Right.
Going, oh my God. And the third show, they're not throwing anybody out because no one's really showing up, so they got to sell their booze. So you had to basically throw a knife at the comic and they'd be, hey, settle down. Settle down.
I mean.
But that's how you get good, though. And that's how you I always hated too, like,
I don't know.
Then once you got through the Saturday, that was like, okay, I'm done. And then you had to sit around the whole fucking day to do 1 more fucking gig on Sunday.
I don't know if that made me better, honestly, that kind of bullshit. But
made you tough, right?
It made me tough. That's right. It actually didn't make the act better. I remember doing those nights, even with 2 shows, but especially with 3, where you were just petrified, I was, that I would forget where I was. Every comic knows this nightmare, and say the same joke because you thought you hadn't said it yet, but you said it in the first show. So now you've said the same joke in the second show, and the audience looks at you like, oh, wow, what?
I would just always ask them, have I told this one yet? I've done 3 shows. I don't even know where I am right now. And I would just say that, and then they would laugh. And then even if I did repeat a joke, they thought it was funny because they think you're just up there and you got the whole thing together. It's just like, no, this is just like when you're at work and you don't know what's going on and you're just kind of faking it. Like that's what I'm doing right now. So I think that's another thing that, like, you know, that's actually, in a weird way, it's a way to bond with the crowd. Like, all right, this guy's fucking up at work right now. I can relate to this.
Wow. I must say, I've never explored that avenue of dealing with it. But I haven't done 2 shows in
But
such a
isn't
long
like
time.
page one, I always thought page one in comedy, when you learn that it's addressing
I mean, I remember it happening
situation.
once. I remember where I was. It was so traumatic. It was Sacramento. It was December. It was 1983.
Sacramento, when nobody knows who you are, that's a tough town to do stand-up in.
Rough. And said the same joke. And I don't remember any of the sympathy from the audience that you describe. I guess when you're a star and you do it.
No, but if you own up to it. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
you have to.
when nobody knew who I was.
There's like this dead silence where there was laughter at your other jokes. So you're just like, oh my God, it's like when you stick a pin in your leg and it's numb there.
No, but if you just said, like, I already told that joke, didn't I? Then they would have laughed. You're like, oh my God, I'm a fucking idiot. It's my 3rd show, and that would have been fine.
Yeah, but I was young and I don't know.
Right.
I just think it's gauche. But yeah.
Here we go again with the big words. What does gauche mean? I've heard the word.
It means great in French.
Gauche? No, it doesn't. Magnifique.
Do you remember when you were on Real
Say
Time?
magnifique, monsieur. That's
you're in the highlight reel.
Super.
You're in the highlight reel because you're on the panel on Real. We're in the guest chair on Real Time, but with the panel, and you say, "I don't know what I'm doing on this show. I feel like I didn't study for the test."
Oh God, yeah. I still don't know why you booked me on that show.
Because you were in the celebrity spot, and because you're a very bright guy. You play this character of the blue-collar, regular guy, but you're obviously very, very smart. So
in a bar?
No.
Dude, you know what's really smart?
No.
Do you know what's really smart? The people they write books about. Those are really smart people.
Well, that's definitely on a level above us, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just comparing me to, like, your friends who you think are so funny. No, I'm kidding. I know you just want to defend these friends so bad. Where are they now? What are describe the friends to me. What do they do? Andy and Bill Bob. What do they do? Where are they?
What do you mean? What do they do?
Where are they now?
They have regular jobs,
right? Like.
I'm not going to get into their fucking lives, but everything that you would look down your fucking nose.
Do your kids play together still?
Yeah.
Your kids play with their kids. That must be a satisfying feeling.
Oh, I think you said my kids play with together.
With their kids?
Well, they live back east. And I also started late, so their kids are grown up.
Oh. Well, that would be that would be inappropriate.
Yeah, that would be inappropriate. Yeah, so they just tell me, like, it's the greatest thing and just, enjoy every second of it because it's going to fly by or whatever. And I've let go a lot of that. That whole fucking enjoy every second of it. It's like the reason why you feel, I think, when you get older as a parent that you didn't enjoy it enough is because of the responsibility to make a functioning, empathetic human being. So you can't fucking enjoy it because you're waiting for whatever other shoe is going to drop. And,
you still have that attitude?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't listen to any parent that comes at me with some negative shit. I just go like, well, you obviously fucked the job up.
Right.
And then also there's like this thing that parents have that once they have kids, they become these all-knowing beings and they know more than you because their kids are older. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I remember when I thought for a minute I was playing drums, I was like, well, maybe this is what I'm going to do because I didn't want to have a real job. So I was playing drums, but every time I go to the music store, I would see some like 8-year-old kid go in there and he just had it. And he was already expressing himself, or she was, on the drums. Right. And I just remembered I don't know what the fuck my point is at this. Just
well,
but I couldn't go up to that kid and be like, well, I've been paying longer than you, and let me tell you something. I was like, no, you're better at this shit. You're already better at this shit than I am. So parenting, it could be like that. I could be better than you. So maybe what you're telling me is like, how do I know you don't suck at this fucking job?
But that had it. You have to be born with it because show business is so competitive that unless you have great amount of the innate ability, whether you're a comic or a drummer or whatever it is, even then you may not get to the top or close to the top, because there are people who will have a lot of innate ability, but then their fucking demons fuck them up.
Yeah, self-sabotage. They're not
So
good
much
at the
of that.
business.
Right.
Not good at the business.
Right.
Because what I experienced, the hardest thing I experienced when I was coming up was watching people that were good at the business and I wasn't, and watching them pass me, whatever that even means. But when you're young, you think this person is passing me.
Totally.
They're on
Yes.
Comedy Central. I haven't gone on Comedy Central.
Right.
I must be doing something wrong.
Exactly.
And, you know, I got to do, what are they doing? Oh, they have a fucking website. I got to get a website.
Right.
And like people think that shit. Like I remember when Dane did all of that shit on fucking, was it MySpace back then? All of these comics were like, I'm going to get on MySpace and then I'm going to sell tickets like that. And they did. It's like that worked for him.
You're right.
You know? So
Right.
it's just like you kind of, after a while, once you reach a level of maturity, you're like, fuck this, I'm doing what I'm doing. And wherever this takes me, and I have to be okay with that. Because there's some people out there that are just like, you know, like if you're in a band, if you're in a band that's like a band, right? And you're really writing what you want to write, you're never going to sell more records than a fucking pop star, whatever, downloads, whatever it is. And you have to be all right with that. You have to be all right with that. There's going to be these pop stars coming through that are just going to, and they have that megawatt, like electrifying thing, and all the girls love them and everything. That was not me. That was not that good.
That's not comedy. That's music.
No, but that happens in comedy. There's
Rarely. Eddie Murphy, Russell Brand.
Dane had it. Matt Rife has it. Those guys, they have that it factory where it's like,
but
this is a good conversation if my cigar goes out, buddy.
Think of how many comics that is over 40 years. You know, it's not a common thing.
Yeah, but that's like a special thing. And Joe Coy. I worked with that guy one time, man. That fucking guy, the level of talent that guy has to sing and do all of this stuff for the end. I was looking at this guy going, this guy is literally a pop star doing stand-up comedy. The women were going fucking crazy. I could make like people in the crowd laugh, but there's like a different thing with a guy like that where they are like enamored. Like, oh my God. Like
I didn't know that about
it. Yeah, it's like a Beatlemania type of thing. You know, use something from your generation.
Yeah, the Beatles. I remember.
Yeah, it's like the Four Tops.
Right. I remember being backstage at the Sullivan Show when they went on.
You went to Shea Stadium.
I had some good advice for them that night. Guys, sing the hits. People don't want to hear the B-sides and the moody stuff. Sing the hits. And they changed their set list that night.
What is so amazing about them is they should have been over in 2 summers because they were essentially a boy band. And they...
The most ridiculous thing you've said tonight.
She loves you, yeah.
Was one of their first songs. They made a few records after that. You've got to be kidding, Bill.
I'm talking about going from that to the White Album. The fact that they made that trajectory, that they had all of this management that were probably wanting them. Like, remember that guy sang the Twist, and the next summer he was like, Twist again? I mean, it was over. Like, you know that they wanted to be. Next summer, sing She Loves You. Oh, yeah. They were just, it works. Let's ride this thing to the ground. And they were like, fuck that. We're going to keep developing as musicians, and we're going to start our own label. They did a lot of shit.
Absolutely.
I'm on the same page with you.
I
know young people shit on your Zeppelin. I know that happens a lot. That's in vogue for young kids to say the Beatles stink.
I can always talk Beatles. And yes, they always, one reason they are prima inter pares among rock gods is that they...
I've never heard all of those words. Was that 3 words? Was that 2 words?
That's Latin for first among equals.
Don't you save that for your parties when you're wearing your smoking jacket? I'll tell you that Bill Maher is really smart. He is really well-read. He just said prima paravardis.
Prima inter pares.
Inter pares.
You know what? I'm not the bad guy because I know more. Okay, can we just get
That's
that?
Right. Don't make me.
That?
Exactly.
I'm not the bad guy because I know things. I apologize.
You should say, I'm sorry, I'm not stupid, Bill. That's what you should have said.
You're right.
That's what you should have said.
And that's why you sell stadiums.
Huh?
Because you could fucking, you got it right on the head. Okay. But the Beatles are first among equals, because they always stayed ahead of the audience. Albert Goldman, in his brilliant book, I thought, made the point that, 1966, it's only 2 years after Beatlemania. The first song on Revolver is Taxman. He said, what could be less interesting to a teenager than taxes? So,
But it's also relatable.
not to a teenager. They don't care about taxes.
I did.
As a teenager?
Yeah, as a teenager. Because there was like a fucking glass ceiling on the amount of money I could take home. Like I was working full fucking time in this warehouse. I could not make $300 in a week. I just couldn't. With the overtime I would get it, and they would just punch me back down to 240, 235. And I remember one year, like a fucking idiot, I didn't get any taxes taken out of my check. And I was drinking the whole fucking week, and then it came and I owed thousands and thousands of dollars. That was one of the dumbest things I did as a kid.
When I was 17.
When I was 17.
It was a very good year. No, I was the delivery boy for the only industry in town, the liquor and drugstore. I would do both. And
That's a great job.
I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, you know what I like? Because you didn't have to be at work. When that time when you were in your car.
Yeah.
It's the greatest.
And I was delivering drugs and liquor.
Fantastic.
It whet my appetite for my future.
Right. I remember I had a gig one summer washing windows in houses outside. Those fucking. I remember those stupid storm windows that they have back east. Like your fingers. By the end of the day, you had to switch fingers from just opening them. And they had, for some fucking reason, everybody had a screen, and they had like 3 of these fucking solid ones, and they wanted you to wash all of them. And my favorite part of that job was in between when we were driving. My buddy had this fucking sick ass. He had this F-150.
I bet he was funny about it.
Oh, he was fucking hilarious.
Okay.
He was fucking hilarious.
About
Oh my God.
About the truck? Even?
Well, like,
that
dude,
good?
listen, I get it. You're not a knock-around guy. You looked up Latin words and you didn't fucking hang out with the fellas, and they used to hang you by your underwear at the lockers. So now none of them are funny because this is your one thing. But I'm funny. They could never be as funny as me.
Well,
like there's so much shit about you that's funny that you're not even trying to be funny. Your whole fucking outfit is hilarious. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
A shirt and pants is an outfit?
You're dressed like that. You're going to sing that, what is that song? Splish Splash, I was taking a bath with your stupid little slippers that you're wearing.
Slippers? These are like boots. These are almost Beatle.
Oh, fuck, you're an outlaw.
These are almost Beatle boots.
They're Chelsea boots. I know
Never
that
got
because my
over
wife's
Beatle
into
boots,
fashion.
'cause they were the greatest.
What were?
Beatle boots.
Those were badass.
Well, that's what it was. It was like the half boot. That's what they sang.
That's
She
a
Loves You,
three-quarter
yeah,
tone.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
so what
you know what I like about their music, and it's like 2.5-minute song, and what they could say about a relationship that's still relatable. Like I used to listen when I really started going into their back catalog, right? Not back catalog. They're later in their career. Rubber Soul and all of that shit. Revolver.
That was not later. That was mid.
All right, relax, you fucking historian. Go ahead, throw another Latin word at me. Anyway, I started like listening to the lyrics, and I would be like, I literally just went through that with whoever I was dating.
Which song are we referring to?
I don't fucking have it memorized. I'm looking through you.
Oh, that's called I'm Looking Through.
And that fucking song is like about the end of a relationship, and you experiencing that as a young person. You don't look different, but things have changed. Like the love died, it's fucking over, and now you have to learn how to break up with somebody.
Can I share something about the Beatles with you without you making fun of me? Maybe you'll find it.
Bill, that's why I'm here.
Okay. So
to listen to you share your ideas about track 3.
See, I know. I just, even when I ask, it gets shot down. Okay, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's from their mid-period. That's 1965, Rubber Soul.
You were what, 28?
That was like the first album. That was the first album.
You bought your first Beatle boots?
I was 9. First album after Beatlemania. So it's great. And that
Do you ever think that you're older than the hula hoop?
That period, I remember the hula hoop. That's true. And that period, Paul McCartney was with, his girlfriend was Jane Asher.
Uh-huh.
And he lived in her parents' apartment in the garret for like 3 years in the middle of London. I'm not making this up.
What's the garret?
The garret is like an attic. Like, the top of the apartment.
Well, we're in California. You could just say attic. And then after that, did they move? Did they move to the garage and have put some basil on their fry up?
Knowing things and words, asshole.
That's an asshole thing to do. To use the English word for fucking attic in California.
Okay, but
I'm one more reference away from taking this mic off and just walking out. I want to make a list of all the things I didn't know, and I'm just gonna fucking say them all to my wife tonight. She's like, "Who the fuck did you have? Are you on mushrooms? What are you talking?"
Oh,
the Garrett.
We have to do Garrett. Garrott.
Brad Garrett.
Garrett, like Garrett. Yes, with an O. Not
so when he goes over there, they think his name's Brad Attic.
No. So anyway, Paul McCartney, he was with this.
Bill Bullocks.
And a number of the songs in that period, like that one, are really about her, and some of them are quite wistful. You know, I think that at the beginning it's "I've just seen a face," but it gets to
put more heart into it.
It gets to some like you could just tell that it was a relationship that was like, I mean, it was the middle of, you know, he's a Beatle in London. I don't know how but he liked, you know, he was a guy who needed a family. He liked having a family. So he lived with the girlfriend's family in the fucking attic. He's
a relationship guy.
He's a relationship guy, yes. Yeah. What?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not mocking it. I'm just...
I wasn't saying you were. Getting really defensive.
No, I'm just, it's back to my point. People are different. So different about that.
Yes, and that's why I have no problem with how you live your life. You are a happy guy.
I am a happy guy, and you're a happy guy.
I am.
See, that's the thing. We found what makes us happy.
Yeah, and then you get into your ego, and not saying you, not metaphorically, hypothetically, generally, whatever the fuck you said, Garrettly, is you start thinking like, oh, this is the way you're happy, is what made me happy. You know, so you have to do it the way that I'm fucking doing that. Then, you know, that's like, I don't. Right? I can do whatever the fuck I want. Can I?
Yeah. Well,
did I lose you in that somehow?
Well, yeah, because I feel like now you're reading my lines. That's my line. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Well, when you're a joke thief, eventually you run into the comic you took it from.
Well, you are not a joke thief.
No.
I mean, I don't know if when you came up being of such a different generation.
Oh, it's totally different.
It was the same way. But when I came up as a comic, I mean, it was like the cardinal sin.
Oh, it's still a cardinal sin.
It is. Okay.
It's still a cardinal sin.
I would think it would have to be. Because that's all
back in the day,
that's all we have is our own take on shit.
Right. And in Boston, before cell phone cameras and all of that stuff, if you took somebody's joke, that person came in and fucking punched you out.
There's a famous story about Tim Thomerson, who I never worked with. He was even older than me, if that's imaginable.
It's incredible. So he was in World War II?
World War II, yes. They used to call him the Major. No, this is like late 70s when
he did Omaha Beach the day after D-Day.
He worked with Frank Capra.
It was a rough crowd.
Yes, he worked with Frank Capra. And
I know who he is. He's fucking amazing. I'm joking.
Yes?
Yes. Tim Thomerson, he's one of the legends down at the Comedy Store.
The story was that when Robin Williams, rest his soul, and great guy, but he might have had a tendency once in a while, because he was on Mork and Mindy, to hear something at the Comedy Store, and perhaps it involuntarily got into the back of his head, and then it would appear on Mork and Mindy. And the story was that Tim Thomerson just walked into the Comedy Store one night and punched him in the face.
Well, I mean, that's, if you do shit like, I mean, and who said he was wrong?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's how that shit was handled. It was like hockey. It was settled on the ice.
Yeah, but Boston comics just seem more truculent and pugilistic than most to me.
I knew what that meant. I would agree or disagree with it.
I normally would not have used those words.
Did you ever play Nick's Comedy Stop? I bet you had some rough sets in that one.
I had a rough night in Boston once where
I was
the headliner
I could see you not having a good time in Boston. I could see them going.
That was a long time ago.
Dude, you have. This is a hacky reference, but you totally have the energy of you forgot to give out the homework assignment, Mrs. So-and-so.
Boston, you may have heard, is a college town. There's quite a few intellectuals there. The audience that's very sophisticated, they like my show. Okay, we all have our niche.
Oh, God, you're so fucking highbrow.
Well, it's true.
Does your shit jokes float above ours?
A little bit.
Why, because you say Setmet tank or something? something about shitting?
Wait, what was I just going to tell you? God damn it.
Nothing interesting.
No, it was. What were we talking about?
I'm fucking
Something.
with you. No, we were talking about
Something
going
important.
to Boston.
Boston! Thank you, yes. I love Boston. It loves me. That's been going. I did a
You just went
special,
Regis on me.
special there
Boston.
in 2007. I have a love affair with the Boston audience. We are like this because they're just very smart. What can I tell you? I know you hate to hear that. But
No, it just sounds
but
like
this was like
it sounds like you have a gig coming up in Boston and the tickets are a little slow.
No, they're never slow in Boston. Never slow in Boston. But
do you perform in Cambridge?
Cambridge.
That's where Harvard is. For a guy like
I
you,
know that.
That's got to be the Taj Mahal. I love that
I
bugged
hate
you.
Harvard. Are you kidding? Have you heard what's going on college campuses these days?
I don't watch the news.
You don't realize that college campuses erupted with the kids demonstrating for Hamas? They are in with the
No,
terrorists.
they were for the Palestinians.
Well, it's sort of the same cause. Why, are you?
I'm on the side of the kids.
Yeah, that's easy to say. You know, no one wants to see kids dead. This is a war.
That was very brave of you to say that.
This is a war. No, I'm the one who's actually brave on this.
Pat yourself on the back.
It's easy to say I'm for the kids. Who's not for the kids?
Well,
it comes down to real hard-nosed decisions. Like a country.
Stop talking like you're a general.
A country got attacked. Israel got attacked.
I'm not saying that they didn't have a right to go back. I'm just sitting there going like, how do I look at what?
We're the only country in the world that they get attacked, and then as soon as they counterattack, it's like, well, we got to stop this shit now. Don't attack them. There's a very simple solution to all this problem in the Middle East. Stop attacking Israel.
Hey, you
Stop
just solved
attacking
it.
Israel.
You just
I did.
solved it.
I actually
There
did.
you go. That's fantastic.
Anyway.
All right.
We don't need to get onto that.
Let's go to Russia and the Ukraine. How do you solve that one, Bill? Let me hear your hard-nosed decision about that. Well, let me ask you a question. How is war still legal? With all the shit that's been canceled.
Legal.
Why is that still fucking legal?
Would you like a real answer to that? Because for something to be illegal, you have to have the capacity to enforce it. And you can't enforce against war, or else you have to go to war with the country that's going to war. And we don't want to go to war with Russia over Ukraine. What would be the sense of making it illegal? Oh, that's really going to stop Putin. No. To stop people from going to war, you have to also put
You can't sit down and talk it out. Why can't Putin do a podcast with the head guy? Like, you just solved the Middle East on a podcast. Why can't they solve what they're doing on a podcast?
This is why this is not your thing.
Make some hard-nosed decisions. It's not your thing. It's what you.
It is my thing.
It isn't your thing.
This is not your
It isn't.
thing.
You're like that guy that has a fantasy football team and thinks he's a fucking GM.
No.
That's exactly what it is. Like, why am I fucking listening to you like you've done something? What have you done in Washington? Nothing.
No, I would never go to Washington.
It's beneath you.
No, it would. Look.
You would be the coolest fucking guy in Washington. You showed up with those boots
it would be so
and
easy.
no tie. They'd be like, oh my God.
It'd be so easy to be.
Did Kevin Bacon just come back to that Footloose town?
Kevin Bacon.
You could teach him how to dance, Bill.
Yeah, I absolutely could.
And you fucking get off your little private jet. I have a TV show.
And you travel Southwest, is that right, Bill?
I love Southwest.
Really?
I love the order.
Is that how you travel?
I love Southwest.
Do you travel commercial?
Most of the time, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Commercial?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bigger plane, better pilots. You don't get knocked around as much. You're riding in a fucking Cadillac. The only thing that sucks about commercial is boarding. That's it. Once you're there and you got your fucking shit up there, you're flying first class, which all first class is, if you never flown it, is they treat you like a human being. As opposed to the animals in the back. They just throw you back there. That was my whole career. Working my way up to being treated like, I remember the DC-9 when you just sit there and your window didn't open because there was an engine there? You don't remember that?
I can't.
How about that last row in the DC-9? The window doesn't open. There's an engine right there, and then right across from you is the bathroom. And you got to listen to another human being take a fucking shit behind one of those things starlets used to get undressed behind.
I'm still stuck on you defending
Stuck on you.
Still stuck on you defending commercial flights as better. Now, you can make the case that it's wrong to fly private. I get that. But I've never heard anyone make the case that it's actually better to be on Delta. That's kind of kooky. No?
Oh, no, I hate Delta. Delta's the fucking worst.
I bet you fly private more than you're letting on.
Listen, listen.
But-
If I have to go somewhere and I don't have enough time to get there.
Oh, suddenly we've got an exception.
No, I said mainly I fly commercial.
Well, you're an idiot. You shouldn't. You know what? It's
What is this? If I don't agree with you, I'm an idiot.
You're right. I apologize.
Fucking John Varvatos shirt. You're not young.
John,
Put on a sweater, for fuck's sakes.
Put on a sweater. Why? I have to be.
At your age.
That's the secret in life. Avoid that.
No.
Don't you think?
No.
No?
Well, hey, I'm an idiot, right? No, I think the number one thing is to be your age. Like all these fucking people, like they go do a college gig at my age. I'm gonna be 56 next month. Be 56.
Yeah.
And come at them as a 56-year-old, and then you can give them advice on all the shit that you did and just say, hey, this worked for me. And you can just have a great time with them. You can have a fucking great time. What fucks you up is if you're looking at what they're wearing and, you fucking come up with your little outfit.
I don't know why this simple shirt and pair of plain black
Can I tell you
jeans.
something? There is absolutely nothing wrong with what you're wearing. That's why it's so much fun. To just make fun of it. It's a little bit of a fucking pirate shirt. You got a lot of extra material in the, you know what? That's what it is. It's this.
What?
First of all, you should have buttoned that if you actually were the gentleman you're trying to be.
Button this? Oh,
Yeah.
You're right. But
You had a woman in your
but you're
life,
right.
she
It's
wouldn't let you
almo-
go on camera like
It's
that.
almost like we're giving you like an advanced comedy test. Like, can you make fun of this? Which is
All right, let's
pretty
not get
bland.
crazy like you're a fashion
It's kind
plate.
of bland,
Like your opinions. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And then when I fucking,
so
go against you,
gratuitous.
then I go, ooh, a big word, another big G word. Look at you. You memorizing that part of the fucking dictionary? I don't have kids. I got all day long. Fucking read the dictionary. Use my fucking $3 words. With a guy who unloads trucks.
Oh. Why do I think there's
Why don't we do we got to do a buddy movie. This is like perfect. This is Walter Matthau,
I'm
Jack
certainly
Lemmon.
not going to do a movie, but there is something about
You seem like an actor.
there is something very very mineable about this vein of comedy, of the single guy, the married guy, the pompous professor guy,
but I
and
also,
the blue collar guy. I mean, it does kind of write
that
it.
was Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is one of the great dark comedies of all time, where you had this super smart teacher, and he had like his biggest fuck up as a student, and then they have to somehow work. It was The Odd Couple.
Oh, you know
It's
what?
fantastic.
I never watched that show, and I know everybody loves it. I'm going to watch it now because that is interesting to me.
I'll tell you what was the coolest thing about that show is, you know those, anytime you make a TV show or a movie, you always have these people that go, no, that never would have happened like that. Dude, everything that they did, right down to me and Lavelle Crawford laying on that pile of money, they figured out how much money Mr. White would have in what denominations and how high it would be to shoot those people down. When we did this train robbery scene, I got to be on that. It was so fucking robbing a train. It was amazing. And they would whatever chemical they had in one of them, they used to make meth. So they were taking it out. My job was to stall the train. They take it out and then replace it with water. And they had their team figure out how long that would take. And they said, we literally had somebody that would be on the internet. That wouldn't happen like that. And they said, actually, it would. The volume of water is this, the volume of that. And they would just shut them the fuck down. Like a comedian, just chopping the head off of the fucking loudmouth asshole in the front row. They did that while making one of the greatest shows of all time.
That is satisfying.
Oh, I already loved them. Like everybody liked the show. It was the most efficiently run. They just knew what they wanted to do. I did one of the first times I did the gig there. We got through the scene so fast, they switched my flight from the next day Southwest. They go, we can get you right now. We can go get your bags at the thing. And I felt like fucking Elvis.
Do you have like a deal now for make more movies somewhere?
No,
No.
it doesn't exist anymore.
What?
It doesn't exist.
No more
They don't do
no
those.
more
They don't do
three-picture
like
deals?
they're getting away from first look deals. Like I'm always late to the party. Like when I started stand up was right after the 80s. All the balloons were popped on the ground and everybody was getting their wages garnished.
Oh, yes. That, again, my generation ruined everything.
I didn't say you ruined. I never
No,
say
but
that.
80s, that's when I was starting. I mean, that's when I was a young comic.
All right, but I didn't say you ruined it.
I know.
I'm just saying no, but it got bloated. It was on every channel, and then it went.
Right.
So I used to open for guys.
It got bloated, yes.
Yeah, and I used to open for guys, and they would try to discourage me. They would be like, "Oh man, I didn't know why you even started. If I was your age, I would get the fuck out of this business." That's what they told me, and they would be like, "Wednesday night, look at this. There's nobody in here. Fucking 3 years ago, there'd be a line down the fucking block, and I didn't have any deflector shields, so I would be listening. Go, really? Oh my god, should I quit? But fortunately, I sucked at everything else in life, so I really didn't have any options.
Yeah, I didn't have a plan B either, really. I remember when I got out of college, I sent out resumes to advertising agencies. I guess I thought I could get that as a day job, be an ad man, write ad copy.
I could see that.
I could see it too. I mean, yeah, it's not that different from stand-up in a way. You're trying to be humorous and pithy and okay.
You'd probably talk down to a few clients, but you'd throw those words in and they'd be like, this guy's smart. This guy knows how to sell these widgets.
I'm telling you, when we both flame out and doing a morning talk show in Seattle, this kind of stuff is going to be gold. It's Fart Man and Asshole Jack.
Yep. Oh, that was morning radio. Morning radio was always a real name, and then Eddie and the Bulldog. It was always something like that. We got Wild Man Vermouth with fucking Jerry. It was always a regular name, then something crazy.
So there's no more three-picture deals, no more like deals at streaming services?
I shouldn't say that.
Don't they need
for
content?
someone like me?
Really?
When
old dads
you're a bald ginger in Hollywood, it's basically...
But didn't old dads do very well?
Yes, it did.
Then why...
Crushed. During the strike, it was let me fucking... For everyone who worked on that movie, Bobby Cannavale and all of those amazing actors and everybody...
I like him.
Patrick Don Vito, everybody helped me edit the thing, Ben Tischler, all of them. We were #1 globally on Netflix 2 weekends in a row, and it streamed like 50 million.
Because who around the world doesn't understand the concept of old dads? Certainly in Pakistan.
Well, maybe we just made a good movie.
No, so riddle me this about the business.
Was there a compliment? The thanks?
What?
There was no compliment in that.
Actually, there was.
Kind of shit on it. Like you didn't think that it went fucking global.
No.
I didn't say in Pakistan they were watching. They might have. You don't think there's some old dads there?
No. What I said, it was...
Well, that's right.
It was,
you figured out the Middle East.
I
forgot.
hit. No. I found a way to craftily get a very good compliment into you.
Well, that's what it is.
Without making it look like one. Because I am the pompous professor, my friend.
I like it.
I know you do. So anyway, but riddle me this about the business, because I'm always reading, as we're always talking of people at dinner when we're in this town and we're all in the business, and we're talking about the changing and the streaming and everything. Why is it if a movie does well like that, then there isn't at least an offer to do the next one?
Because the people running it now, they're kind of doing like what Germany did, where they tried to take over the whole world. And you can't do that because there's just so many people don't want that. But there's always something in every business, like Amazon or fucking Walmart. They're always trying, let's open up across from this mom and pop and put them out of business and we'll be the only show in town. Like, there's just always people doing that. So
what does that have to do with hiring a guy who just had a big hit movie to do another hit movie? If you want to take over the world...
streaming service has devalued art, where back in the day, you used to pay $10 to go see a movie. Now, $20, you get all the movies. That's what I'm talking about.
We're talking about...
You ask me a question, I'm trying to fucking answer it.
We're talking about success. The movie
Why don't you just tell me what it is, rather than ask me? We can save some time.
No, I'm asking because I don't understand. The movie had success. Doesn't matter if it was art or not.
And I can tell you what happened to me. I fucking went back and I pitched another movie to 2 junior executives, and I waited 6 weeks to get an offer that it was just like it never happened. Still starting out like that movie never happened. And that's kind of like, that's how the acting world, that's why I think being an actor is so much harder than being a fucking comedian. Because if I come through town, first time I headline your club, I draw okay, but you see I'm funny. We'll take another chance on this guy. I come back, even if the same 30 people show up, but you see I have a whole new act, they see it. And you've proven you're funny. I don't have to reprove that I'm funny.
No.
Again, where an actor, this fucking actor's with an Oscar. And there's people going, yeah, I don't know, can they play that? It's like they won the highest fucking award. And I have empathy for actors for the lack of control there. First of all, you do the performance, and if you're not in the edit, especially if it's a comedy,
right,
and you get the wrong guy editing it, they're going to leave you hanging out to dry. Like, the actors really are like the quarterback of the team, where it's like, if you win, you're fucking Joe Montana. If you lose, you're a bust. And it, like, a lot of times, and as you're making a movie, you have no idea how it's going to come together.
No idea. I've been on enough movies to know it is just always a mystery. There's so many things that can go wrong.
Are they going to promote it? I did this really, really great movie, Front Runner. And it came out the same weekend as Aquaman. And it was just, I saw one of the stars promote it for like 2 days.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
And then the next time I saw him, he was promoting his next project. And I said, oh my God, they're burying it. It's not going to get, and it's
what
just.
Was it on?
What was it? It was in the movie theaters.
It was in the theater.
Yeah.
I mean, most.
It was. You would have liked the movie. It was about Gary Hart.
I would have watched it.
It was about Gary Hart, and it was about the first politician.
Never heard of it.
Where they went into his personal life, and there was this big debate.
What did you play?
I played one of the reporters for the Miami Herald, and the big thing was.
Oh yeah.
There was like a battle at the paper. They had this great scene where it's like, we can't run this because we'll be like a tabloid. And then the big thing was Gary Hart said, hey, I'm an open book, go ahead, look at everything.
Right.
He said that.
He did.
And that was their wiggle room to get in that. And then after that.
Nothing was the same.
Nothing was the same. But I always wondered, what did Gary Hart think? Because he had to end his campaign because of infidelities. And then, like, within 4 years, Bill Clinton comes in, and he's like the Teflon Don. None of it sticks to him. And he still ends up getting elected and does 2 terms. Like, he must have been thinking, like, oh, I could have done that. I didn't know that.
Right. Yeah.
I could have just went like, I did not have sexual relations. I love the look of the Terminator. I did not. Like, I always wondered if he stood in the mirror and got that bottom lip.
He was something. But
yeah.
I'm still so puzzled by this, though, that I mean, just in their interest, you'd think it would be in their interest if you did something that was successful for them to want to, that's all, I mean, you could always count on that in show business. Art is just always, that if you're lucky, it coincides with their business interests. But profit, success, people bought it, that's what they care about. That's what I don't understand about this. It's in their interest. So something is very fucked up in this media age we live in when success is not rewarded. And I've heard a lot of people say that about streaming, that success is not rewarded like directly, like it was back in the day. You bought a record, that went to #1. People actually went to the store and bought it. We knew which was most popular. Same thing with movies, the box office. Like streaming.
Yeah, now like streamers, they're holding all the cards. It's like Stripes. Remember Stripes, that great scene? John Candy, he's looking, yeah, man, you lost again. He's looking at his cards and shit. Like, they give you the numbers and it's just like, how do I know that's true? Like, like you had like, for the awards season, they can go, this is a massive hit, blah, 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 blah. And then when you come to be like, okay, it's a massive hit, can I have some, well, the numbers weren't that good. Like, the numbers are whatever they need them to be. It's become like that. So, I mean, I just roll with it. I mean, if that's, I don't think it's going to stay like this. Like, and it's like.
But like, are you working on scripts though for
idea?
Yeah,
we're me and Ben Tissell, we're writing another one. We got another great idea. It's another thing. It's in the title, you know what it's, that's what I liked about Old Dads. You knew what it was.
Right.
And then within that, you could touch on a lot of bigger topics with just regular people. Like we were commenting on, sort of like summing somebody up in one tweet.
And you like the process of like writing a movie with somebody?
I love writing. I love writing
do?
dialogue. And one of my favorite things to do is I want every actor that shows up to be excited, like that we wrote them something that's going to be
Right.
fun to say. Because then they come to the set.
Of course.
They have fun.
Well, that's how you get an actor to do it.
Yeah. And then for the crew, all you do once a week, you bring in a food truck, you know, and a coffee truck on another day. They're like, okay, this guy gives a fuck. Like the bar is so
You only
low.
feed your crew once a week?
No. There's a regular thing. But once a week, if you spring for a food truck, because that's coming out of your pocket, that's not them. They're like, all right, this guy's a solid guy. So then if you have a long day, because shit isn't working, which is gonna happen,
right?
They're not looking at you like, you know, how many times gonna eat this fucking lasagna? You know, lasagna is like the big, like if you got to cook for 100 people,
right?
They come out in those aluminum trays. If a truck comes up every once in a while, you gotta give somebody a ray of light, you know, as they're doing it. And
it's a great tip for the kids out there who are thinking about going into the business and treating crews bad or good. Once a week.
Can I tell you how low the bar is? How low the bar is?
Oh, you just did. A food truck once a week will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I tell you, just saying good morning to people. They're like, you're like one of the nicest guys I ever worked for. It's just like, what the fuck happened to you? Who doesn't say good morning? There's people that don't say good morning.
No, I mean, look, I would not have the, oh my God, to do a movie. First of all, you got to get up at like the crack of dawn. I mean, it's like I remember in the 80s doing that. It's like all you do is the
DC
movie.
Cab, right?
DC Cab,
yeah.
Right, my first big picture. You do the movie and sleep. That's your whole life. There's almost nothing else.
If you're the director, you do the movie and then you answer questions and then you go to sleep and you wake up and there's more questions.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it's just the movie and sleep. There's no life there.
So it was a great experience for me because I already obviously respected people that directed and edited and everything, but I didn't understand the process of how tedious it is and like, you know, my ADD and everything. Like I really had to I had to figure out a way in the edit room to give your brain a break. So what we started doing was me, Ben, and Patrick Don Vito, who edited the movie, we would go for walks. We'd be like, let's just take a walk around the block. We got to get out because we, just in this fucking editing bay, this, curtains are down and everything. And you're just fucking in this thing. And just like, it became like really productive to not sit there all day working, to actually get up and and you'd be looking forward. What do you think? 11 o'clock, we'll go for a walk. Okay, great. So then I can break my day down. We would have lunch. And then in the afternoon, we would go for another walk, just walking around, trying different restaurants.
What about a meditation podcast for you? What do you think? You do just mindfulness where you just
Did that make you uncomfortable that I did that?
Yeah, you see, you do that to me, but what I do to you, it's suddenly it's out of bounds.
No, I knew what you were doing. I thought we were doing that thing. So I hit it back to you. Did that make you uncomfortable? I took it off of me. I put it on you. No. That's nothing new.
No, I'm just saying, I see you doing a kind of like we call it meditation for meatheads.
I am a meathead. I don't have a problem with that. I am.
What, it's
one of my biggest
the
best thing about me is I know I'm an idiot.
You're not an idiot. If you were an idiot,
oof.
What?
I mean,
it's not an idiot. It's just
You're calling me a fucking meathead, and then you say I'm not an idiot.
Because
you're all over the road here.
It's a bit, but no, it's just that people perceive truth differently. Like if you've ever had a lover who is in the arts, I know you hate that term, but artistic people, they don't perceive truth exactly literally. Now, sometimes that's better and sometimes it's worse because sometimes the truth is just the truth and they don't see it that way. They see it sort of artistically. They see it through a
Can I ask you a question?
And I don't think they're stupider. I just think they see life through a different prism.
Can I ask you a question?
We got to go.
Last time,
Good night.
From the bottom of your heart, you said to another human being, you know what, I'm wrong.
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Really?
My favorite words are I'm wrong or I don't know because every time I say them, I learn something. Absolutely. And
There you go. I didn't see that coming from you.
I know, but
All that
we don't
extra material in your sleeves.
we don't know each other, and I dress like a clown, so why would we? I mean,
This is one of the most showbiz
ridiculous.
This is one of the most showbiz
Oh,
friendships I have in this business, because the only time I've ever been to is podcast or your show.
It's just the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Have you seen Casablanca lately? I would recommend it highly.
I love it.
I did.
I actually
It's so great.
took my wife to go see Casablanca, where they have the symphony downtown.
I saw it also with a lady friend, and it's very meaningful.
And they had a live orchestra playing the score as you watch the movie.
Oh,
so cool.
Where was this?
Whatever that big symphony hall is that I never go to.
Downtown, the Disney Center?
Yeah, the one that looks all weird.
Yeah, the one from
artsy.
Frank Gehry.
Frank Gehry?
He's an architect.
He's an architect. I knew he's an architect. Oh, that's a big thing in your world, knowing architects' names.
I wasn't trying to brag.
That's an L. Ron Hubbard.
No, it's just, I'm always...
No, Frank Lloyd Wright. I always say L. Ron Hubbard. Frank Lloyd, that's a Frank Lloyd Wright.
You knew that one.
I like Frank Lloyd Wright.
Right. He and his brother invented...
I like Art
Frank
Deco.
Lloyd Wright. He and his brother invented the airplane.
I like Art Deco.
Art Deco.
First of all, I don't think you could change the oil in a car, so don't talk about fucking architecture.
I can't, and I wouldn't want to.
Oh, let me adjust my glasses.
Why would I want?
I don't want.
Why
to.
would I want to, Eliza? I'm Professor Henry Higgins. That's another great one.
It's a really satisfying feeling.
Have you seen My Fair Lady? Can I recommend something? Watch that with your wife. My Fair Lady. You'll really enjoy it.
Some white woman spinning around in a field?
Yeah.
I don't think she was going to be too into that.
No, that's The Sound of Music, fool.
Aren't those all the same movie?
No.
Isn't that all Fast and the Furious for the music lovers?
My Fair Lady's based on Pygmalion.
Oh, that's based on that. Can I tell you something, Bill? Most of the shit that you say is not smart. It's just sort of obscure.
It's not obscure to a certain percentage of people.
Yeah, I'm not
some giant egghead. I'm just
I know you're not that smart.
I know. I'm not saying I am. Which says something about all these things I say that you don't know what I'm talking about.
So what?
I know.
There's subjects I could bring up that's just, you're just into, musicals. You're not going to make me feel dumb. Because who's your favorite?
You're so dumb. You sell stadiums.
Let me ask you this: who's your favorite? What's your favorite top musical?
I'm not a musical fan at all. My Fair Lady was playing in the house when I was a kid, along with some other ones, but that's the one I gravitated to. I still could play Professor Henry Higgins. I'm almost still not too old to do that. I'm not going to do that, but it's one of the rare parts where I would be perfect for it. He's a pompous professor.
There you go.
And it's just delightful. The music is great. I'm sure you know many of the songs. I won't sing them all for you.
Sing one for me.
I have often walked on this street before.
Sing another one. I don't know that one. I'm walking down it now. Doobie-doo. Good, clean fun.
What's that?
I mean, what is that? That's scat singing from your generation.
Oh, that's scat singing. Right.
That's one of the most annoying things ever. Scat singing.
Because
I get it. You sound like a trumpet. Stop it.
It would make your zoot itch.
Yeah, I wasn't. Scat singing is something I have to walk away from.
What music do you listen to? What music do you listen to, Bill Burr?
I'll tell you the latest thing I downloaded. Willow Smith.
Willow Smith
just put out a fucking incredible album, and what I'm loving is the drums are incredible, and so much of it is in like an odd time. I was trying to play along to this one song it started in 7, and then it stops. There's a bar of 8, and then you play in 7, and then the chorus is in 4. And I literally had to write it out to try and just figure out like the first friggin' half of it. So I listened to that. I still listen to Zeppelin. I've been listening to Kenny Rogers. I like old school country.
Yeah,
I like I like a lot of hip hop right into right about Biggie dying and Jay-Z coming up. I liked all of that. I liked storytellers.
90s.
Yeah, and a lot of the 80s shit is really cool too, but basically the 90s. And what I loved about Biggie was he was fucking hilarious, and he was an incredible storyteller, and his stage presence was unbelievable. And the fact that he was only 24,
Yeah.
he did all of that by 24, and I was really into that. Now, you just age out of it because people are talking about stuff. I mean, not like I can relate to what he was.
Actually, Bill, I wish we could, but there's another rap war going on currently. Maybe you've heard about it, between Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, and who better to discuss this
And
a 60-something and a 50-something-year-old white guy?
what do you make of this rap war, this sort of renaissance of the 90s rap wars?
I think it's great. It's great.
Great?
It's great for
Somebody got shot today.
Oh, well, you have to make your hard-nosed decisions. No, I think it's great. It's fun. I think it's fun.
Why can't we all get along?
That are all. Why can't we all get along? Because sociopaths want all of it.
But why
They don't want to share.
Why Drake and Kendrick Lamar? I mean, why are mommy and daddy fighting?
I don't know where you're going with this.
Why are they? What?
I believe the kids call it beefing.
I know. It is beefing.
I know. I'm single. I'm into all this no cap.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that world. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Has 60 Minutes done you yet?
No.
See, it never stops. That whole thing about, why am I not? Somebody passed me. They got 60 Minutes.
No. I like where I am in this business.
Yeah.
I like that. I just do what I do, and whoever likes it, and whoever doesn't moves on to something else. I don't have like
Bet
that.
you 60 Minutes does you within the next 2 years.
I'll take that bet.